guys, welcome to my channel. You're watching the Little Book of Jackets, where I basically talk about Chanel jackets. I am in the process of recording more content for my channel, but in the meantime, you can definitely check out my blog, which is thelittlebookofjackets.com, where I have several articles about different jackets that I own and kind of my reviews and all kinds of things. But I am going to make videos of the same content so that you can watch or you can read it. So today I wanted to share with you how I quickly identify a counterfeit Chanel jacket when I'm shopping online. So when I am on eBay or if I am on Poshmark or Vestiaire and I'm scanning through several Chanel jackets, which I normally look through hundreds of Chanel jackets every week, generally by looking at certain pictures, I can tell if the item is questionable or if it's more likely authentic. I'm extremely paranoid when it comes to shopping for pre-loved Chanel online. Every purchase that I make, unless it's from a reputed dealer that has presence on social media and all kinds of things, I do not trust that it's an authentic item. I have bought jackets from The RealReal, that I get those authenticated. Jackets that I have bought in the past from eBay, I get those authenticated. Pretty much, like I said, every purchase, I get it authenticated. Sometimes I get things authenticated before I even think about purchasing, because if it's a large purchase or whatever. So I am extremely paranoid when it comes to getting scammed by counterfeiters. And the reason being is that I have accidentally purchased about $7,000 worth of Chanel jackets that were counterfeits. Of course, unintentionally, and it was very heartbreaking. So I was able to get my money back on one of them with Amex, but one of them, I didn't realize it was a counterfeit until like 2 years later, so it was too late for that. And one, I kind of knew that was questionable, but it was only $500. Anyway, the point being is that every purchase that I make, I get it authenticated. So this video is by no means a substitution for authentication. So just keep that in mind. You gotta get your purchases authenticated in order to protect yourself. This is not a substitute for actual professional authentication. All right, let's get into it. Basically, you need to understand with Chanel jackets is that all the elements of the jacket itself, like the tweed, the silk lining, the buttons, the chain detail, all those things are super, super easy to copy, and they're also super cheap to copy. If you were to go on eBay or even Etsy for that matter, and if you were to plug in, Chanel jacket or Chanel inspired or whatever jacket, you will come across many jackets that look very much like Chanel because they're using some of the tweeds that Chanel has used in the past, and they look gorgeous. The one counterfeit Chanel jacket that I got from one of the sellers on eBay looked like the real deal. But unfortunately, the challenge for me especially is that a lot of times the jacket that I'm buying, I have never seen the real deal, right? So I don't have any reference point as to how the real one should look like versus how the fake one looks like. The point is that the tweed and the fabric and everything is super easy to copy. The buttons are super easy and super cheap to copy. The hardest thing to copy for a counterfeiter is actually the branding. So when you are quickly scanning for a Chanel jacket, your next purchase that you're planning on, get to the pictures where they're showing you the brand tag. Because 99.9% of the time, what I have seen, which again, I'm sure the scammers are going to eventually catch up and going to perfect it even further. It's going to get only harder to, spot counterfeiters. But at this moment, at least, what I have seen is that they get everything else right, but they will screw up when it comes to branding. When it comes to the most minute details of the branding, like the brand tag, they screw up royally, and you can tell the difference. Most fake Chanel jackets that you will see online, they will have a tag that is only attached on two sides, okay? So it's attached on the right side, left side, and it's completely open on the top. And this is an easy thing to spot because they will have the tag hanging from here, and if the tag is hanging from here, you can just move on and save yourself further time by ignoring that listing. That I have almost always seen is a counterfeit jacket. Chanel brand tag is always attached on three sides, okay? So it's right, left, and top. So, and it's nice and snug, like very well stitched. So it's not that easy for this to come off, okay? Now this jacket, this is a relatively new collection. Because the stitching quality is so poor, the tag is coming off. I mean, it's not like you're wrestling in your Chanel jacket. There's no reason for the tag to come off that easily. I mean, I have Chanel jackets from like 30 years ago where the tag is solid on it. So I'm not saying that like every tag that has come off, the jacket is fake. That's not what I'm saying. But it's a newer collection. The tag is completely, either was never attached on the top or has completely come off like this. Yeah, this is absolute fake. So if you see a tag that's only attached on two sides, that's likely a fake. Move on from that. The other thing that I have noticed that the counterfeiters get wrong is the size of the tag, okay? So when it comes to Chanel jackets, so Chanel makes some of their ready-to-wear, I believe, in like Spain or Italy. The tags that they use for their jackets, like a typical Chanel jacket that is made in France, is a completely different size. And it's very consistent. It has been consistent for over, at this point, over 30 years. So Chanel gets a lot of their ready-to-wear made in Italy as well. So it's made in France or it's made in Italy. Those are the ones that I've seen. I'm sure they get it made other places. I have no idea. Those are the ones that I've seen. So from what I have seen is that Chanel's ready-to-wear, that is like, their sweaters and cardigans and all those things, they are generally made in Italy. But your Chanel jacket, like legitimate Chanel jacket, is made in France, okay? So for example, this was my first purchase of Chanel. I bought it at the Austin Chanel boutique. And I was thinking I bought a jacket. The price point was like $3,000 or something at the time. But this is not a typical Chanel jacket. It's a cardigan. Of course, it is lined, but it does not have any chain at the bottom. And to me, the most important thing is that this is actually made in Italy. So this is not made in France. And I can't see because I don't have my reading glasses, but I'm sure you can. So this is made in Italy. Now look at the tag of this particular cardigan, okay? So look how small that is, okay? So your sweaters, your cardigans, your other ready-to-wear, it can potentially have a much smaller tag. When it comes to Chanel jackets, the tag is basically one size and one size only. So here's a Chanel jacket, like I showed you earlier. This one, we measured it yesterday. It's like 2.8 or something. It's little less than 3 inches, the tag. This is the tag from 2019, okay? This is a tag from an older collection. Again, look at the size of this tag, okay? The sizing of the tag is very consistent. Now I'll show you a jacket that was made over 30 years ago. So this is a vintage jacket made in 1993, I believe. And here is another Chanel jacket that I own that is also vintage. Now, this is a handwritten tag that you'll see on vintage jackets, which is no longer present on the new Chanel jackets, but you can see the size of the tag. It has remained extremely consistent. Chanel hasn't made many changes on their tagging. And here is the one that I'm wearing right now. And again, you can see now this was sold at Bergdorf and Goodman at some point, but it's a Chanel boutique, but the size of the tag is the same, okay? So you have to pay attention to the way the tag is attached to the jacket. You have to pay attention to the size of the tag that is attached to a jacket. And if I spot any inconsistency in either one of those things, I automatically think that there's something wrong with the jacket. When I got a counterfeit Chanel jacket, like all the stress that I had to go through in order to get my money back, even though Amex got my back, it was just not worth it for me. I move on. I'm not gonna waste my time trying to convince myself and say, well, maybe, and I'm gonna buy it. No, not worth it. Not worth it at all. So the way the tag is attached and the size of the tag, these are very, very important things when you're scanning for Chanel jackets online. And I'll post pictures of certain Chanel jackets that I have seen listed in the past that are super easy to spot as counterfeits because just by looking at the tag. So here is my counterfeit Chanel jacket, and unfortunately I lost the tag on this one. I cannot show it to you, I'm sorry, but I do have lots of pictures of this tag. And I also have this exact same jacket and that is authentic. So you can see it side by side, the difference between the size of the tag and all that. So again, look at the tweed of this jacket, and I'm going to do a video on the fake and the real deal of this jacket. That's why I'm actually saving this jacket. There's no difference. I mean, not to an average person. You cannot spot the difference between the fake one and the real one by just looking at the tweed or looking at the buttons. I mean, looking at the lining and all those things, it's just really hard to spot. So ultimately, you have to pay attention to the details of the branding, because that's where the counterfeiters are going to fail, or they're going to take much longer to copy, which I think eventually they will get better and better at it. So when you're shopping online, just be safe out there. It's lots and lots of counterfeit items. And of course, there are many great resellers online that sell only authentic goods, and they're earnest and good people. But unfortunately, there are many scammers out there. So you just got to make sure you protect yourself, scan things quickly to spot the fakes and stay away from them. Here's my final thought. If you're seeing one item from a seller that is a counterfeit, stay away from that person. Maybe the other items, look okay to you or whatever, but I'm sorry, most of the resellers that I have done business with online are horrified by the thought of accidentally selling a counterfeit jacket, and they will go to great lengths to prevent that from happening because it's a reputation damage for them. So they don't take those risks. So if somebody out there is posting a counterfeit Chanel jacket, which is the mistake I made when I bought this one, and again, I'll tell you the story some other day. Yeah, if you see somebody selling one fake, I'm sorry, assume all their items are fake and do not go near that person unless you want to take chances, which I think, doesn't make any sense. Anyways, hope this video was helpful, and have fun shopping online. See you later.